Okay, you can sit down. That was really more for me, not for you. So before we get into the word, I'm going to let you guys know some things about me. I know some of you, not all of you. So we'll start like David said. My name is Victoria. I go to CSUN, well, not obviously, but I do attend CSUN. I'm in my 4th year, but I'm on a 5-year plan. Amen for people, 5-year plan. I'm originally from the Bay Area. Anybody? There you are. There you are. And I was raised by my dad with my sister. I came to CSUN, and I got saved when I was about 16. I wasn't really raised in the church, but from like 16 on up. And I would drive myself to church. I was all about God. And then, you know, we made some promises to God that were broken. Has anybody made a promise to God and broken it? Okay, I'm not alone. And so I came to CSUN, and as soon as I got here, I was ready to leave. You can ask Michaela. I was like every day, I was trying to go to another school. I was trying to go to culinary school. My dad said, no, you're going to stay there where you are. Not paying for that. But I stayed here. And so in 2011, I was in the basketball courts, and a whole bunch of people were there. I saw some music, or I heard some music, not saw some music. And they were playing, you know, that Kirk Franklin giving out gift cards, and it was actually Hope Fellowship. And I had heard of Hope Fellowship because my roommate, Anisha, was always like, oh, you want to go to Bible study? Because she knew that I went to church, but I wasn't trying to be on God's plan at the time. I was trying to live my life. I'll do you when I'm 30, sometime around there. I wasn't trying to do it. But I was at a stage in my life where I was saying that I loved God, but then I was still having sex and smoking weed and doing all those other things. So that can only last for so long. If any of you guys are in that predicament now, get out, because it's not going to last very long. You're going to get confused. You're going to find yourself going crazy. And you're going to come running back to God anyway, so you might as well just go ahead, because he's going to come after you. So that's pretty much about me. I'm a child and adolescent development major, if anybody cared to know. And I think that's it. I just have like 1 or 2 rules while I'm up here talking. Is that if I ask a question, don't look at me, because it's really like I'm really asking you, and I'll let you know if it's rhetorical. Okay? Okay, cool. So, can somebody tell me what is sin?
Missing the mark.
A what?
Missing the mark.
Missing the mark. That was deep. Anyone else? Go ahead, Debbie.
Anything that doesn't proceed from faith.
Okay. Anyone else? Go ahead, Dania.
Disobedience.
Okay, cool. So the definition that I have down for sin is any act that violates God's will. Somebody shout out some sins. Can be common ones, uncommon ones. Cursing. Robbery. Fornicating. Lying. We're going to put jealousy in there. Envy. I'm pretty sure that's the same. So we know that I want to get this ground so we all are on one accord. So we all know that those who are living in sin are not going to inherit the kingdom of God. We're all in agreement?
Yeah.
Does anybody not believe me? Anybody have any questions? Well, just in case you are like, I don't really believe you, but I'm not going to say anything because you're right here. Turn to Galatians 5:19-21. And who wants to read? That's not David and not Damien. And if you don't have a Bible, go make a friend or download the app on your phone. Either way, because it's still a Bible. Is anybody there?
What is it, Galatians?
5:19-21.
Okay, Michelle.
Sure, go ahead, Kayla, Michelle.
5:19. The acts of the sinful nature are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, and witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, and envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God.
Okay, amen. Everybody, we're on that. We all believe each other now, right? We believe God that what he says is true. So why do you think that we do sin? This one's not a rhetorical question either.
all influences, and it's just like we don't really take what is into account when we read the Bible. We're kind of like, well, I sinned, and I can just pray and He'll forgive me.
So it's almost like we have that grace and mercy credit card that we just keep swiping that we'll kind of know that'll never max out, but eventually He's gonna handle you. You're gonna be dealt with. And I know for me, as I got I guess more mature in God, I would still keep a little obvious sins a little bit because I didn't want the calling He had for my life. Because I thought that if I keep doing this, God, you're gonna count me out. But that's not true either. That's a lie. If He has a calling on your life, it's going to be there. Now, when you decide to address it and accept it, that's up to you. But I suggest if you just do it because you don't want to be 65 and just now working with your calling and then you're going to be dead in the next 5 years. I don't know, but that's really. We don't say I'm going to wait till 30 to get my life right because there's some people in here that are around 30 and I'm sure that they'll tell you that they rather have gotten their life right when they're between the ages of 18 and 21 than waiting to 30 and then they have all of that mess instead of just having mess from 15 to 18. Amen. You guys hear me? Okay. So, we're going to move on. Just let that resonate with you. So, when you hear somebody, what's an example? Okay, say I ask Tabitha, oh, hey, how's Nancy? And she's like, oh, she's really struggling right now. When Tabitha would say to me, oh, she's really struggling right now, what would you guys think about? Like, when you hear somebody that's struggling with sin, what do you think about? Not rhetorical.
Sex.
You just think that sex,
it's just what comes to mind.
Okay. Go ahead, Kayla.
When I hear struggling with sin, I think that it's like you're trying to get out of something that you just feel like you can't get out of it, so you're trying to change, but you just keep going right back to your old ways. So that's what I don't think of one sin. I just think of everything when you're trying to change your lifestyle in general, and you just can't help but go back.
Cool. So for me, it's kind of similar, but when I think of somebody that's struggling with sin, I think that they're continually doing the sin. So if somebody says to me, oh, she's struggling with keeping her legs closed, then I would think that she's continuing to keep her legs open. Correct? Is that anybody else? Okay, so do you guys really know what the definition of struggle is? Okay, so the definition of struggle means to restrain or resist attack. So if somebody is struggling, they're not doing it. If you're doing it, you're being defeated by it. So don't trick yourself and say I'm fighting against it when you're really already doing it. So let's be honest first. Okay? So let's just take that into consideration. But also, it is to convict you because I've been convicted of it. There's certain things that I still am, fighting with that I have to be accountable for. But that, no matter how big your failures are, that doesn't mean God can't get you out of it. So even if you feel like you've done X, Y, and Z too many times, and if you feel like you're unworthy of being forgiven, that's a lie from the enemy. So we can all say that's a lie.
That's a lie.
From the enemy.
From the enemy.
Cool. And so I know sometimes we say that we're trying and that we're trying and that we're trying, and we continue to go back. And so what I thought about was, say you go on a date, and Devon kind of used this example, but I'm going to challenge it a little bit. So you go on a date with a guy, right? Or a girl, if you're a man, but I'm a female, so I'm going to say guy. And you guys go to the movies, it was cute, it was nice, he paid for it, all of it, amen, and drove you, thank you God. And so, you guys are in the car, and I don't know how you guys got to his house, but we're going to say, he's like, oh, I need to pick up a sweatshirt, because we want to go to the lake, and I'm cold, so we're going to the house first. Just follow me, just be with me, don't think too deep about it. So he's like, oh, do you want to come up with me? You're like, okay, I don't want to wait in the car. But being in your house is a little bit, that's stepping into some territory. So then you guys are up in his house, and you're like, okay, God, like, let's go, you know, get your sweatshirt, let's go. And he's like, oh, let me sit down real quick, I gotta tie my shoe. So then you guys are like, oh, skip the lake, it's too cold outside. And, you know, it's too cold. Do you want to just watch a movie? Even though you guys already watched the movie, apparently you need to watch the second one. So you're at his house, and you guys are watching the movies, and he gets a little closer. And you're like, ooh, I can smell you. You smell real good. You got that fresh cut. You're wearing them shoes. And then he moves a little closer, and oh my gosh, his arm just happened to wrap around me. Don't touch me, because now it's too late. We're girls. Let's not fool ourselves. Or we move a little closer. We're like, ooh, we're so cold. It's so cold. You got heater. And so, you know, then some music's playing, some Tank is in the background, or whoever you want it to be. And no Tank? No Tank? Well, whoever you would like it to be. I happen to enjoy the music of Tank, Genuine. Whoever, Chris Brown, whoever you want it to be. That's not the point. Let's get back to the point. And so, reel it back.
That's a word in itself.
So whoever your artist of choice is, I don't really care. And so then it happens. And then on Sunday you're at the altar and you're like, God, but I tried and I tried. But God's like, if you continue to listen to music that promotes lust, and you continue to be around people that are encouraging lust, and you continue to watch these TV shows that are filled with kiss and sings and all that, and I'm not saying that it's bad to watch TV or listen to music, but you have to see where you are in your life if you're able to do that. Because then God's going to be like, well, how hard did you really try when you knew that you struggled with that, but you want to listen to that music, you want to watch that TV show, and you knew you probably shouldn't even be dating right now anyway. So, in that, and I know that we feel like temptation is hard, and this doesn't necessarily have to be about sex. I just am talking about this because I know it's a common ground. It could be about anything. You can insert whatever you're struggling with, or unless you're being defeated by it. So no matter how hard our temptation is, we've never shed blood for it. Has anybody shed blood for the thing that they're fighting against?
Nope.
Anybody? Okay, let's turn to Hebrews 12. Who wants to read? No, thank you. I'll tell you who's to read.
Oh, after the one wants to read.
Go ahead, AJ. Can you read 3 and 4?
12, right?
Yep.
Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. In your struggle against sin, you have not yet resisted to the point of shedding your blood.
Okay, you can stop. This, I encourage you guys to read the rest of it, but it's basically God talking about He's disciplining His children. And none of us, it's not that bad. It's really not. If we continue to put ourselves in situations that make it that bad, then it's going to be. But stop putting ourselves in situations we're not fighting blood. Nobody's laying us on a cross. That's already been done. So you don't have to endure this pain when it's already been done for you.
Good.
And I'm not saying that, once you're Christian or whatever, it just becomes harder, as I think most of us know. It's not like, okay, God, I gave you my life and things become easier. I think it's the exact opposite. I think things get harder because I think Pastor Dre said this, that you were on the enemy's team before, and now you're not. So he didn't have a reason to mess with you then, and now he does, and he's trying to grab you back. So when it doesn't become harder. However, when temptation sets there, you have to see, who do you love more, the temptation or do you love God? Do you love your temptation more or do you love God more? Which one is worth it?
Wow.
And somebody pray real hard. And even continuing on with that, I was talking to somebody and I was like, you're worth more than that. I don't know why you did that. And they responded, oh, well, I know I'm worth more. So if you know you're worth more, you must think that God's not worth more. So we really have to evaluate ourselves and think, like, who are we kidding? We say these worship songs and we pray. Well, we do the amen, thank you God for waking me up. I hope that I pass this midterm. That's about the extent of some people's prayer life. It's you don't really love God like you think you love God or like you say you love God. So just keep that into consideration. And also sometimes we see our peers that go to Bible study with us or who are a lead of something, and you see them doing X, Y, and Z. And you're like, but God, how can you keep them in a place and they're still sinning? But don't compare your sin life. That's dumb. It just doesn't make sense. God is probably working on them in a certain area, and he's working with you in a different area. So don't look to people to be your example, like your sole example. You can look up to people, but don't be like, okay, so Devon, I'm just going to throw you here because you're a college pastor. Let's say that I can't even think if I'm doing this. Let's say that we see Devon smoking weed right here. And we're like, oh, Devon's smoking? Ooh, it is on. Roll me up right now. Devon's not God, number one. Number two, he's still human. So we put all of our faith into people. We put all of our, our heart and everything we have into people when we should be putting those things into God.
Yeah.
And that's where we lie for disappointment, because I'm like, Michaela, I really want you to do this for me. I really want you to do this for me. And when she doesn't do it, I feel like she fails me. But why am I putting all of this on Michaela when I should be putting it on God, who has the power? Michaela can only do so much. Your friends and your family can only do so much. There has to be a point in your life where you stop calling your mom, you stop calling your dad, and you call your Heavenly Father first.
Wow.
It should start with God, and it needs to end with God.
That's God. That's a word.
And so when we're going through these things, we have to, I've already said, like, let's be real with ourselves. So saying that again, are you going to choose life or are you going to choose death? Because life has already chosen you. You have a spot waiting for you on this team, but what are you going to choose? You have to make that choice. Let's see, let's go from here, Jesus. Okay, so are we all going to agree on that we're going to choose life?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, 5 people. Are we all going to agree that we're going to choose life? And if you're really questioning, don't say yes. But I think most of you guys want a yes. Okay. So when we're going through something, tell somebody. You can tell your friend, but don't make your friend your accountability partner. And I say tell someone first because it's biblical. James 5:16 talks about confessing your sins to one another. So you have to do that. It's biblical. It's imperative. But also when you don't tell somebody and you try to fix it on your own and you try to do it on your own, the enemy lies in secrecy. That is his favorite place to be with you, because all it is him and you and your thoughts and his thoughts. And what he's going to do with your thoughts and twist them and turn them and make you believe lies when they're not true. So tell somebody and get somebody who can guide you through this thing. Like I said before, don't rely solely on them because you have to rely on God, but it is important to get somebody who you can ask questions with, read the Bible with, because if I'm not mistaken, Devon, you mentioned that the Bible wasn't written for us to study alone. Correct. So get with somebody and do that. And the only reason why I say don't have your friends be your accountability partner is because have any of you guys said, oh, I'm going to go to the gym and me and my friend are going to do this, or we're going to go on a diet together. Has anybody made a plan with your friend? Mm-hmm. And then the first week you guys are good and you're going to the gym, you're like, ooh, yes, we're losing this weight, or I'm getting this muscle. And then the second week, you guys are like, oh, yeah, we're still doing it. And then it's like Thursday, you're like, ooh, girl, I really don't want to do that. Me either. And then it's like the next day, ooh, I have that assignment I forgot to do. Oh, it is okay. You know what? Let's just forget about this weekend. We'll start over Monday. And Monday's start over never comes. You guys know that. So just get somebody who can really, who can guide you and who's been there, because they know. And also change your routine. So if you're used to getting up, going to school, going to work, and then going home and lying down and watching whatever, that's idle time. And if you don't do things correctly with your idle time, the devil will come in and try to, he'll tempt you with things, or you'll tempt yourself with things. Because there's been half the time when we're sitting in Bible study and then we're texting that person, making plans, or in our mind realize, I hear what they're saying, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, let's not fool ourselves. It's not always the devil. Sometimes it's us.
That's true.
And he doesn't have to do any work. And he's just like, thank you for doing my job. You've made today easier. But during that time, get in your word. I am the number one person who was not really trying to read the Bible. Because one, I didn't understand half of it. And anytime somebody else got something, I'd be like, what is happening? I don't understand how Elijah or David I don't understand what's happening. I don't get it. But there's tons of resources out there. We can give it to you after. Just really get in your word because it's ammunition for you. And so those times when you feel tempted, you have to shout those Bible verses out. For me, a big thing was and trying to keep my legs closed. And when you could be lying in your bed innocently, not trying to do anything, just trying to have your time with, just laying in bed, and then all of a sudden a rush of emotions come. You're like, oh, Jesus, what? I'm not thinking about none of that. And then I had to make a decision. Am I going to get in and call somebody or do it myself? Or are we going to be real? Because don't lie, ladies, it is not a man thing.
No,
it is not a man thing. So, am I going to do it myself? Call somebody, or am I going to choose you, Jesus? And so I'm so glad I choose you, God, and flee from sexual immorality. That is my number one, because it's about 3 words. That's all I can memorize. Everything else, I got to put it on a post-it because I don't know. And so after that, it might not feel right in the moment, and you probably want to have sex in that moment. I get it. I understand. But the next morning, you don't have conviction. You feel like, oh my gosh, this power that everybody talks about, I really have it inside of me. Like, this isn't a dream. No is liberating.
Hey, come on.
The word no really is liberating, and not just with temptation, but some of us are yes people, and we like to say yes to everything. Yes, I'll pick you up. Yes, I'll feed the dog. Yes, I'll do your taxes. Like, some people, I don't know where that came from. Like, some people are just yes people. And I'm definitely one of those yes people because I like to make other people's lives easier. I like to help people, that type of thing. But half the time when we say yes to somebody, our stuff isn't getting done. So we have to first take care of ourselves and then take care of somebody else, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't help anybody else. And I'm about to close, actually. So I know we've talked about a couple of things, but none of this is really going to work if you do not renew your mind. Because if you don't renew your mind, you're only going to have short-term results. You guys get that? Because I've been in a place where I was like, okay, God, I'm on you, like I'm for you, we're on fire. But I didn't really renew my mind, and I didn't quite understand what that meant. Like, literally, you have to have a new type of thinking. You have to think heavenly. You cannot think worldly, because when you think worldly, you get yourself in trouble.
Yes, you do.
And then worldly things start making sense.
Yes, you do.
Like, why can't I have sex? It's just, he loves me. Maybe he says it, she says it, but you don't know. And like what's been said time and time and time again, you're running mileage on your body. Like, you don't want to have so many people that you've been connected with, because now you're sleeping with whoever they slept with and whoever they slept with. And quite frankly, there's too many STDs out there. There's way too many, and nobody has any type of time to get that. So for a scripture for renewing your mind, it's Romans 12:2. If somebody wants to turn to that and read it.
Speak, I got it.
Do not be conformed to this age, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God.
Okay, so yeah, we have to renew our mind. And even, I don't know, it was like 2 weeks ago, and I was talking to Mina about something. I quite frankly don't even remember it, so apparently it wasn't that big of a deal. But I was kind of freaking out about some things. And then, I think you told me to read Hebrews. And then she said something about renewing your mind. And to me, that was so like genius, even though it says it right here and it has it in my notes and I know. But for me, I had to be reminded like, oh, I can't just renew my mind at the revival. Like, I have to renew my mind daily. Literally, daily. I have to say, okay, God, we're going to think like you, because if I don't think like you, some fingers might be out of place.
Yes.
Some people might get their feelings hurt. It just wasn't, it wouldn't be. So you have to renew your mind daily. And also because we get so many things daily. So if we're constantly getting worldly things, you kind of almost have to drain yourself out of it and like overflow your body with wisdom and with the Word of God, because that's the only way we're gonna do this thing and fight against it. And I was talking to a couple of my friends, and I told them that I'm really tired of seeing us basically start something and be good, and then somebody falls off, and then we have to start all over. I'm telling you guys, this is really the year for you to be free in God and to be free to be who He called you to be. There's no more starting and stopping. I'm going to fight for us, and I need somebody to be on God's team with me to fight for this and stop saying, okay, God, I'm going to be celibate, or okay, God, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then we continue to put it off.
Wow.
That's not helping anybody. It's not productive. It's lazy. It's not what God has called us to do here. He didn't call us just to be mediocre people. He didn't call us to be stop and start people. He called us to be His people and continue to go forward.
Wow.
You guys, close your eyes. Bow your head. Jesus. God, we love you, and just thank you for this word, God. Half the time we don't even know what we're doing, God, just because it's what we're used to do, God. And half of these things that we deal with aren't our fault, and they're passed down to us from our parents and our parents' parents. But right now, God, we're going to break this cycle, Lord. We're going to break the chains of depression, God, and we're going to break the chains of financial issues, God, and we're going to break the chains of lust, God.
Hallelujah.
I pray right now, Jesus, that if anybody feels convicted by this, oh God, that they start praying for forgiveness, God, that they want to do better. God, I pray for the hearts that are kind of feeling uneasy, oh God, and I just ask you to love on them, Lord. I ask you, God, to wrap your arms around them and to know that you are here, God, and although that they have done wrong, Lord, that they will continue to be loved by you, God. So if there's anybody who is tired of failing and who wants to fight and fight hard for their life, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. If you're tired of failing and you're ready to fight, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand. There's no music because this has to be a real thing. You have to be ready. Thank you, God. And if you've heard everything, but you don't really know what this is about, you've heard about God from your grandmother, and you kind of know His name, you've heard a couple of songs, but you don't know Him for yourself, and you would like to dedicate your life to Him and have the power that He has and just everything that He offers, and you want that, raise your hand.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
And if you know who God is, but you feel like you've kind of gone the other way and you've kind of ignored Him for a while, but you know where your heart needs to be and you know where you need to be. If you want to rededicate your life to Christ, you can raise your hand. Thank you, Jesus. And as you're sitting here, and if you feel like, you're good or you're not really ready to do that, I just still ask you to pray. Pray for your brothers and sisters and pray for yourself, most importantly. Pray that God will find those empty places, those nasty, dirty places that you don't even know that are there. And as you're done praying, you can raise your hands. I know that was a lot, at least for me it was, because honestly I'm coming from a place that I'm dealing with the same issues that you guys are, just because I'm speaking really literally means nothing.